I am here today with Sami Winter, who is the Ironman North Carolina race director, 70.3 race director. And she also does she's also a vet and she's also a coach. And, she's endlessly apparently not bored. But I'm so excited you're here, Sami, and this is going to be such a good conversation.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I mean, any chance I can take to talk about the reality of what being a race director, and aside from that, just my race, it's not really my race. It's like my team's race, right? I have the most amazing staff and team that you could ever imagine. That's the only reason I can make it through this. I will do it because I just love it. I just love it.
That's
I
so
love it.
awesome. Yeah. And it's so Ironman North Carolina is 70.3 is a little it's like a smidge later this year. It's usually like middle-ish of October, and now it's like end of October, but then it's going back in 2026, right?
It is going back. And everybody said, "You changed the date. You changed that." I was like, "No, no, no. I did not change the date. God changed the date because he makes the tide charts. So the tide charts change the date because we have to come in on, you want to swim on an incoming tide because you don't want to swim against the current. So this was the year of the incoming tide happened to be on the fourth week and not the third week. But next year we go back to the third a
Oh,
week.
that's
So
so
next
cool.
next year will be October 17th. So that
Yeah.
that's why it moved. It had nothing to do with anything. It's not like the river swims where they always are flowing and you're opening dams and controlling the flow. This is truly is tidal based. So
That is
yeah.
so cool. And P.S. and by the way, if you want a PR, this is the course to do it on because of that.
Yeah, the swim is usually really fast. The bike you can have some headwind on. So there's that challenge.
Hmm.
And then the run is just beautiful. I mean, I think the run is great. Last year I do have to brag on my team that put my swim and my run together. So we were third swim in North America. We really should have been number one. We're going for the gold this year, but we had some chop. We had some incoming chop, which created you know, some people just didn't quite get that when they're swimming the current. And then we were third run in North America and fifth globally. Like out of 70 races, we had the fifth best run. I know, Wilmington, North Carolina. Everybody talks about the swim, but our run was fifth, so which I think was really cool. Like
Yeah,
that was,
and that is a cool. It is a cool run. I mean, going through downtown and like it's neat.
yeah, it
It's
is.
a
It's
great
a, it's
course.
a, it's pretty, and it's shaded when you get out to the park. And you're through down, and it has some rise to it, right? So it's not just that flat. Your legs get a little bit of a break. You're not climbing a mountain, but you get a
Yeah.
little bit of rise. So yeah, it's a really pretty run.
So Sammy, when did you so because this race used to be back in the day, used to be Beach to Battleship, and it was a combination Ironman, or I guess technically full distance and half distance because it was run by setup events, and then they sold it to Ironman, right? And I
They
don't even
did
know what year that was. Like that was maybe
2016.
2016. Okay, and did you take it? Did you like race direct from the get-go?
No, so I've been involved with Beach to Battleship from the get-go in
Oh, wow.
2008 when
Cool.
there, and I did various and different jobs. I was transportation coordinator one year. It was organized a little bit differently. I was run course volunteers, and I was run course, and I did that for most of the time, just dealing with the run course. And then in 2016, Ironman bought it, and Brian Bohr became race director, and I became volunteer director. I had been volunteer director for the marathon for I think maybe 8, 9 years at that point. So I became volunteer director for the marathon and for the Ironman. And then Brian Bohr took a promotion and became head of like the trail division of Ironman, and they needed a race director. And I thought, well, that would be fun. Let's try it. That sounds fun. And I love my community. I've been in Wilmington for 56 years, so I love my community. And I was like, it'll be different. It'll be fun. It is different from volunteer directing. But yeah,
So
and so
how?
then I've been race director since it would be, well, 2020, but we know what happened in 2020. So
Yes. Yeah, the disaster that was.
yeah, yes, the disaster that
Yeah.
was.
And I mean, you put on a great race that no doubt about that. How many, you talk about your team and your staff. So how many people are involved in putting on this operation?
Yeah, so the person more important than me is my volunteer director, and I'm always like, you get her on board first. I've known her since, oh gosh, 2004, 2005. We trained together and raced together, and I probably drive her a little crazy, but she's my volunteer director. And then we have 46 local captains that help. Yeah, and so we do three captains meetings a year, and they help gather the volunteers because one person can't. gather that many volunteers that you need to do it all. So there, and then the Ironman staff comes in with about 30 maybe. And then they have all their merch people too. So maybe like 35, probably
Wow.
about 30, 35. So, but my local team, I just love them. And we have been very, very lucky that we've maintained the same local captain since I was since I was volunteer director. So I recruited them all, and most of them have stayed on, which is a good testament to my now, my volunteer director now. So yeah, they're good people, really good people.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I'll be the first to admit that, Ironman is not cheap. It is, but as you're saying, like there's a lot involved. And every year when I come down, because I oftentimes volunteer on the swim, and I watch the truck putting out all those cones. I'm like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching every time they like drop a cone.
And just say cha-ching about 5,000 times, and that alone.
Yep.
Oh, and then cha-ching, cha-ching when you pass the barricades, and then cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching when you pass all the porta potties. So there's 161 porta potties out
Wow.
there for anybody
That's
that
some
wants to
cha-ching
know.
right there. Holy
That
smoke.
is some cha-ching. So there you go. Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it, in other words.
There's a lot that goes into it. And besides just what you see, it's what's on the back end too, right? Nobody even looks at this, but there's 107 law enforcement out there.
Wow.
And it's 4 different agencies, and we're meeting 3 times a year. There's everything that goes through NCDOT, because we go through multiple counties, multiple.
You go on the highway, right?
It's on the highway.
Yeah.
Some of it's on the, yep. We have about, let me see, 13 to 30, 17 miles, and then 44 to, there's about 23 miles on the highway.
Yeah. So if you ever want to ride your bike on the highway and have a lane to yourself.
Yeah, and we bike out there a lot, actually. A lot of people don't like it because part of it you're not coned in, but it's 2-lane, and so you got to ride rules of the road. But we ride out there a lot because there's a big wide shoulder too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with some logistics. This course is unique because it's a point to point. It's almost like a point to point to point.
Oh no, it's a point to point to point to point to point.
So yeah. Again, cha-ching.
Again, yes.
There's that. And then also, like, for anybody who might be starting into this, this might be their first 70.3. Like, I feel like it's a little bit next level than your average 70.3. Like, you got to think through a lot of the logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys hook everybody up with all these like bags. And so before even starting, what do you think somebody should know about the course before even signing up?
Ooh, before signing up, I can tell you what they should do when they sign up. But before signing up, I think they should know that North Carolina is the best race out there. So they should definitely sign up. But if they should sign up before they sign up.
Early too, right? Because you guys are sold out.
We always sell out, which I'm very blessed and grateful that many people want to come race down here with all the logistics, as you point out. They think most people want easy stuff, but I would sign up with this just knowing that you're going to need to read the athlete guide. You're going to need to, and the main thing is, some of these races you can drive in on Friday, you can pick up your packet, you rack your bike, and you race on Saturday or Saturday for Sunday. Whatever day it is, you do. I usually recommend you're taking a day off work to race on Saturday. So be prepared to spend more than 36 hours down here to race, right? If you really have a quick time and got to get in and out, this is probably not the race to do it because you do need to get here early to kind of take care of some things. That would probably be the biggest one because I hear a lot of, oh my gosh, I'm not getting there until 2:00 on Friday. You're going to be pressing it, right? Or you're just going to be rushed and not relaxed and not ready to race. So do be prepared that you probably need a good 48 hours to get organized. I think that's the biggest thing. And that's the biggest thing that surprises people. I like it because it's a Saturday race, so people can usually get home on either late Saturday afternoon or Sunday and get ready for Monday. I think that's kind of nice. But on the front end, it means you're taking off some time on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like transition is different than the start, is different than T2 and the finish line. So, which is not necessarily a short drive. It's all gorgeous, like because you're downtown Wilmington and then you're Wrightsville, which is awesome, but also
It takes logistics. So being able to take time off and then just like I said, I say that jokingly because everybody always like read the athlete guide, but you're going to need to read the athlete guide and look at the maps. It takes a little bit of work on the front end, but once you understand it, it's really pretty easy. And if you just kind of have it, the hardest part I think is deciding if you want to stay at the beach or you want to stay downtown. That depends whether you want to stay at the start or whether you want to stay at the finish. So
I vote for the beach. That's always my vote.
That's usually my vote too. My vote is usually the beach. And then if you don't have anybody to drive with you to kind of help you out, then, I say you can go down, park your car the night before, Uber back and, so you have a car down there. But I think the beach is a prettier place to stay.
Especially in the fall. The beaches, like Wrightsville's so awesome in the fall.
It's so pretty right now. It's so pretty.
And you don't have nearly the same crowds, and it's awesome. And like the water's not too cold.
It's so pretty. No, we became wetsuit legal this week, and it won't go back up. Yay! Right now, the water, I think 75 still. Now, it might drop a little this week with this cold front moving through, but yeah, the other thing I think that people should know is I don't know if the race is 100% spectator friendly. It's not unfriendly, but this is a cool place to bring your family for vacation. So your family can come down with you for the weekend. And there's plenty of stuff for them to do while you're racing, and they can bop in and see you too. But while you're doing all your race things, there's plenty of stuff for them to do. And that's fun. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So then when they sign up, what are some of the things that they need to do? And then we'll get into like the swim, bike, run, all those aspects. Yeah,
that's okay. First thing is decide if you're going to stay at beach or downtown. And then you can kind of plan easier from there, where you want to stay. Don't wait to decide. There's plenty of hotels. Like there's plenty of opportunities and places to stay, but just decide where you want to stay. And then I would read last year's athlete guide if you're signing up early to just go ahead and get it in your brain. And then I would start training.
Cool. Yes. Good order of operations. I'm digging that.
And then I would start training. As a coach, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Start training yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cool. All right. So then, speaking of the athlete guide, well, let's at least start with like transitions, and then we can get into the swim. What is going on with all the transitions?
I love all my transitions. Yes, but there are two of them. And the first one, the most important tip for the first one is you are going to turn your bike in the day before, but then you have this bag, that you bring. It's a blue bag. Blue is bike. So when you come out of the swim and you're all dressed in your bike gear, everything from the swim has to go in the bag. And then tie it tight at the top because, we've got football players and soccer players that are loading up these bags and you never know what the quarterback's going to do. I say that jokingly, but they do get tossed around. Tie it tightly and leave it at your spot. If you don't care about getting anything back, don't put it in your bag. But if it's not in the bag, it's not coming back. And I'm not in the business of carting bike pumps. Do not put a bike pump in your bag, and no buckets allowed.
That's one of your pet peeves, isn't it?
That is one of my pet peeves. Can you tell that people told you that is one of my pet peeves? Do not bring a bucket in my transition. And people will be like, oh my gosh, I have nothing against buckets in your house and wherever you want to put them, but we're not going to put them in my little transition.
Yes, they hold tools.
Imagine 2,500 people brought a bucket. What am I going to do with those buckets?
Yeah. Yeah. So no buckets.
No buckets.
Fit it in the bag. Because now I'm thinking
of like, you bring a bucket to transition.
I've never ever in my life, Sami brought a bucket to transition.
For anybody that's listening to this, if you bring a bucket, I think that's phenomenal because some people like to sit on their buckets to put on their bucket.
I would say that is probably the main purpose.
I understand, and that is fantastic, but I mean, we can't do it.
Yeah, not a logistical thing that is appropriate for your race.
That is there you go. That is correct. That is very correct. Yes.
And then so all these things that might be left behind, what the heck do you do with all that stuff?
Oh, I know. Don't laugh. My volunteer, because she has a much bigger garage than I do, her garage the day after the race looks like,
like Goodwill or something like that?
does. But we are very good. I will give her a pat on the back, and her and I and my athlete services team together, we go through, I post on Facebook. She gets all the numbers. Like if the numbers are in there, we find and we mail everything to people.
No kidding.
Yeah, we do. She's pretty remarkable like that, and we will track things down, and it's amazing half the time. Typically, what happens is nobody's stuff is lost. Somebody just took, typically another athlete just picked it up, by mistake. When everybody's trying to get in a hurry. So I guess, don't be in a hurry. Pack purposefully when you're packing your stuff. But yeah, we get it back to them. We hold it. And then after about 30, 45 days, we donate a lot of stuff that gets left. But we find homes for most. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Because how many athletes are you dealing with here?
Last year, we started over 27.
Wow, 2,700.
2,700. This year it'll be. I think it's going to be a little bit. I asked for it to be a little bit less.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just gets a lot with 2 transitions and
It
carting
does get
off
a lot.
the bag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking of all the stuff that when you go down to the pier, so I guess we'll get into swim now, right? When you walk down to the, I guess it's technically a pier. It's like just like a big parking lot.
Hanover Seaside. It's Hanover Seaside Club.
Okay. All right. Hanover Seaside Club. And you're in their big parking lot, and it's usually a little chilly. So you're standing there all awkwardly in your wetsuit, and probably a little cold. And then there just ends up being this like massive pile of flip-flops and I don't even know, is that intentional, or is that just like, here you go, Ironman North Carolina, enjoy some stuff?
Well, so I'll tell you what we do with all that stuff. So I usually tell people you don't want to be in your wetsuit too early. The coaching side of me says don't be in, you don't want to pull it up and just be standing in this compression garment for an hour. You don't want to do that. So you are going to bring, if anything, just pull it on, put it up to your waist. So you are going to have clothes. You can use the morning clothes bag. If you really want your sweatshirt, which I would want.
Look at that gorgeous shirt.
Yeah. If you really want your sweatshirt back, then you use your morning clothes bag, tie it up, and put it there. Once again, don't bring a whole suitcase. I don't want to cart everything in that bag again. But if you don't care, you can just throw it off, and everything that is left in that parking lot gets donated. Everything. And people are like, I left my sweatshirt there. We're not carting it back downtown. If you throw off a sweatshirt, if you leave shoes, if you do whatever, it all gets taken to typically Good Shepherd. Yeah, it'll get taken there and donated. But then you can use your morning clothes bag too. Don't bring backpacks. Don't bring a lot of stuff. Once again, we have to cart all those bags. So we're carting 2 sets of bags all the way downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always tell people, don't put valuables in there. And they're like, and I'll throw out this little tip. Well, what do I do with my car keys? If they're by themselves and all of a sudden they have their car keys with them, I say put them on your bike in your bento box, because you're going to ride your bike. So when you go to transition, put your key there to your car. If you're by yourself, you do your race, your bike's in T2, you get your bike, you get your key, and you're done. So that's where I usually put that. So people ask about their phones a lot. And I'm like, I don't know, don't carry your phone down to the swim start. And everybody's like, I might need to call. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put it in your bag if it was me, but people do it.
Yeah. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah.
So you get down to the swim start, and there's no like official warm up, right? Yeah.
There is not, and that is because of the current. We have nowhere to put you in that you're not going to just scootle on down the channel, and then we're going to have to get you on back. So there's no way to do it. So what I actually made a post on Facebook, and I said, there's plenty of space back there. You need to do jumping jacks, high knees, arm circles, whatever you need to do. You do need to do some kind of a warm up to get your heart rate up before you get in the water. You're just not going to be able to swim. Bring bands. I mean, there's people back there that have some swim bands that are using all that.
Or like a physical therapy band that's easy to
take that and do some rows, do any kind of, if you can get the band, if you have the real swim bands, you can practice your stroke, do whatever you can to warm up, but you need to warm up. There's just not a swim warm up.
And is there a place where they can at least like dip their hand in the water and, splash it on their face at all? Or is that like, let's not do that?
There's not really a great place to do that. They can walk over to the ocean and do that if they want. The other thing I tell people is carry a bottle of water with you. And what I do whenever I do any of these races like that, where I don't like when I did Alcatraz before I jumped in, or Norseman or things like that, I have a bottle of water. Just dump the bottle of water on your head
Okay.
as you're walking across the street.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
and then we have trash cans over there. Throw the bottle away, and there's your there's
Yeah.
your shot right there.
Yeah.
So
And don't forget when your face hits the water, it's salty.
it is salty. We swim here all the time and don't think about it. I'm always amazed. People are like, "Oh my God, it's so salty," and I'm like, "Really?" Yeah, no, but we don't think about it. But yeah, it is salty. So if you want to have a bottle of water in transition, we do have a water in. So as you're running in from the swim, you can grab a cup of water. If you're like, "Ugh, I don't like the way it tastes,"
Yeah.
and do that.
And you just don't have like showers, right?
We used to, but we don't have them anymore. It just
What about-
became a little difficult to do. We are going to run a hose. CPAT, there's a place to put a hose, so we kind of have a hose out there. We might have somebody kind of spraying if they want it, but we're not going to have a real shower.
Yeah,
this year.
because I know there's a lot of people at the very end. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I sweat so much. Look how salty I am." And I'm like, I mean, yes, you are probably salty, but it's mostly
That's right.
the ocean.
It's mostly from the ocean. That's right. I say the same thing too, because typically, I don't know what we're in the 70s. Not that you're not going to sweat in the 70s. You're not going to look like you do here in southeastern North Carolina in the 90s in the summer, where you're like,
Yes, just totally
Yeah.
drenched. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Are there wetsuit strippers?
Yes. Wetsuit peelers. Wetsuit peelers.
Oh, sorry, wetsuit peelers. Is that like the new PC way of?
They're
So
wetsuit
sorry.
peelers. That's okay. The team, it's the same soccer team that's done it for like 3 or 4 years, and they love it.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. I know we're gonna have to back up to the actual swim, but like I was so excited about wetsuit peelers. So how does one get prepared to be peeled?
To be peeled, so besides being a point to point to point to point to point race, you have you're climbing out of the water out of a ladder. There are 10 ladders lined up on the dock. You are climbed up. People all the time like, somebody pushed me, somebody did this. You got 10 ladders. Pick one. Or somebody's giving you a little push up. Good. They're just helping you get up the ladder. So you climb up the ladder, you get up on the dock, you're going to run down the dock. As you're coming around the dock, you're going to take your goggles off. Oh yeah, I guess you don't have to take your goggles and your swim cap. You can leave those on if you're cold. Unzip your wetsuit, get it down, pull it to your waist. CPATH lets you leave shoes over there if you don't like doing the little third of a mile
concrete.
run to transition. If you don't want to run on concrete, you can leave shoes. And I tell people when it's cold, put those hand warmers in your shoes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So yeah, then your shoes are toasty. So then you pick up your shoes, you run out, you sit down, let them peel your wetsuit, throw your shoes on that are now toasty warm, grab those hand warmers, grab your wetsuit, and just start running. And then you get to transition. And so then you can, if it's super chilly, you can then repurpose those hand warmers. I've been known to put them in my back pocket of my tri, because then it kind of warms your back up.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to warm your core up. Some people last year it was warm enough they wore gloves. You put them in your gloves. Your hands get warm, but at least your bike shoes are warm. So then your feet are warmer when you get over there, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that is nice. So when somebody wants to get peeled, they lay down on their back and then off it goes.
Off it goes. And those boys like to have contests of who can get them off the fastest.
I bet they do. Oh my goodness, that is the best. Okay, so let's rewind. You can't get a warm up in the swim, but then once you get in, you guys are releasing people. What is it, like 4-ish at a time?
3 every 5 seconds.
3 every 5 seconds.
Sometimes when we get near the end, as we get closer, we want to try and get everybody in an hour. So as you get in, it may become 4 every 5 seconds, because you want to take breaks like every 10 minutes or so too, just to kind of let a little space develop. Yeah.
So tips when they get in the water.
So you can get in, you can walk in, and then you kind of ease around. You got to start swimming, because it'll drop off, and then you kind of ease around the dock, and boom, you're gone. And you do want to this is one race you definitely want to keep those sight buoys on your left, because as you're swimming down, the current's going to start pulling you. And last year, a lot of people are like, the buoy's moving, the buoy's moving. I'm like, the buoy is not moving, because if it was moving, it would be at the finish with you, and it wasn't. But it sometimes can get stretched out on the line, right, if the current's really strong. So as you're kind of swimming and you're aiming for that buoy, if you swim and you're the ding, 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 it's going to pull you right around their buoy. You just want to keep those buoys on your left, the sight buoys. But go out with them. And if you're not a confident swimmer, you can swim by the docks. And the docks are kind of right there. If you're like, nope, I want to swim by the docks, that's where I want to be. It's just going to be harder to make that left turn to get into Mott's channel. You start in banks, you go in Mott's, and then weave your way through Mott's. It's just going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah. I feel like that swim is unlike any other. It's because it's like, well, how many turn buoys are there? Like, well, you kind of turn, you like turn rightish, and then you turn left, and then you kind of turn rightish, and then leftish, and it's like all these.
That's exactly right. It's more of like you're kind of snaking your way through. You kind of come out, you bear right. You're not going to go left because the current's not going to let you. So you're gonna go right whether you want to go right or not. Once you kind of bear right, then you kind of bear left. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You just snake your way through the channel.
Yeah, and the support. I mean, having been on the sport end of things, that is next level. They have divers, lifeguards. My favorite are the lifeguards who are on the they look like they're on rocket ships, and they can move those suckers.
Yeah. I spend a lot of time with water safety. Wrightsville Beach Ocean Rescue supports us. We have the Coast Guard out there protecting one end of the channel from boats. We've got New Hanover County Sheriffs protecting other two ends. We, like I said, Ocean Rescue, 5 boats, 3 jet skis, 20 lifeguards, like 45 water support. I mean, at some point we have to swim, but I'm very blessed to have a fantastic swim team that puts that together and recruits that. One of the local SUP clubs donates all the SUPs and paddle boards for all the people to use out there. Yeah. It's really, really nice. It's really nice.
That's cool.
But at some point you got to swim. You need to swim. You can float a lot of it, but it's not a river swim. You're just not going down river. You got to navigate the turn. So I tell people it's great. People are like, it's going to be so fast. And, I'm like, yes, but it's a real swim because you have to navigate. You're not just floating down. So it still is a real swim. It's a fast, real swim, but it's still a real swim. Yeah. And I don't know, anybody watching this that I don't know if Myrick, who is Chatty race director, or anybody out in Oregon, if they were to see this, they're going to be like, my swim's real. And I'm going to be like, really? You just jump in and float downstream.
I mean, a good, healthy competition is good, even if it's amongst race directors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have it. Is it real? But yeah, so, it does take a little bit of navigational skills.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah, we have one coach who says, just be a bag of potato chips. You just just sit. But here, yes, you can do that. But like you said, you do have to make sure you are going in the right direction. You'll end up in like the marsh.
Yeah. You will. You'll end up down close to my house if you just keep going and don't turn. But if you're a bag of potato chips, at some point, the potato chips have to come out and swim. You can float on down, but at some point, they got to come out, do a little breaststroke, and turn around. Yeah.
Yeah. I hesitate to say this, but we did see remnants of things that are living in the ocean. So, but I imagine it's probably not, I'm not going to say specific words of things that live in the ocean, but I've not seen anybody have an issue. Have you ever had anybody have an issue with things that live in the ocean?
Yeah, we are swimming in their habitat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say, as soon as I say this, it's going to jinx me because we've got kind of a storm rolling through this weekend. But this was a very, 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 very light jellyfish season. Like typically, we do have the jellyfish, but they come once the cooler water comes, they go away. Now, sometimes we've had occasional remnants of jellyfish there that people have gotten stung. I mean, this year, we swam throughout the whole summer and no stings really because a bunch of us swim out there all the time. So I don't know what it was. And we had, some storms come up with some storm surge and everything too. And that kind of brings them in, but it wasn't. So yeah, you will. In a few years, we've had people reports of some jellyfish stings for sure. I've been out there and have seen a lot of dolphins. Yeah, dolphins will swim out there, which is really, really cool. And I always say, I hope the dolphins come. But it's been, that's kind of all we've seen. Like I said, jellies have been really light, which is kind of nice. Yeah, make sure when you run in the water, they're little crabs. that crawl in the sand. So put your feet up when you're going in the water, shuffle your feet,
Okay.
do,
All
do the
right.
stingray shuffle.
Yeah.
Um,
The stingray shuffle.
well, that's what you're supposed to do when you get in the water, right? You're supposed to shuffle your feet like that. So I told you,
Hmm.
shuffle your feet. But you might see a little, crabbies down there biting your toes.
Okay. All right.
They don't.
All right.
Yeah,
But just like you said, we're swimming in their habitat.
we are.
So
We are in their home.
okay. All right. So you get out of one of the 10 ladders. So don't necessarily just go for the first one because you might get hung up in there by other people, and you
Yep.
might be the one giving your neighbor a nice shove
Yep.
first. And then you get your wetsuit peeled, and then off you go into transition, and then on we go to the bike. So, what are some important things to know about the bike?
Key things about the bike: you're going to have headwind. Just a matter of where and how much you're going to have it. But that means where there's headwind, there is tailwind. So that's always nice. Typically, there's headwind out because you're going north. So this time of year, we usually have a north wind, and then it's usually tailwind back home. That's the best way to be. And that's typically how it is, but I don't write the weather. So can't help you there, but that's typically what it is. You are coned in for about this year, we've added some. So you're in a cone dedicated lane for like the first 17, 18 miles. So that's really nice. The first 10, you are riding counterflow though, which means you are riding and traffic is coming at you. You're coned in, but quite a few courses do that now because it lets you keep the city open a little bit. I do tell people when you are riding counterflow, it is, if you follow the USA T rules, which everybody should follow the USA T rules, you always ride right and pass left. Everybody should know that. When you are riding counterflow, you still do that. You still ride right and pass left. People get confused because nobody wants to ride by the cones. That time of the morning, the traffic's really pretty light. So you're good. And then you transition at about mile 10 to the right side of the road. And then you get out, and once you hit the highway at mile 30, you start your little country loop out there. You're not coned in out there. Rules of the road. It is not a free-for-all. You need to pay attention. There are people that have to get to work out there. And then you hit the highway, you go through and you come back. Union Chapel and Blueberry Road are some good riding. We ride those two roads a lot. That's really good, smooth riding. Oh, yes, we do have 2 graded bridges that you have to go over. On the bridges, it is no passing and no aero.
Ooh.
And I am very strict about that. You can be disqualified if you are caught passing or riding an aero. So graded bridge, no passing, no aero, period, non-negotiable, the end. We ride those bridges a
Oh,
lot.
will you just like pull somebody off over the bridge and just
Yeah.
make them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not messing around on the bridges. We're
Yeah.
not messing around.
Yeah.
We're not waiting to the end to give you your DQ.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
You will get shown a card and you're done. So you would hate to be DQ'd at mile and a half.
No
Because the first bridge is at mile and a half.
You're like still wet and still fresh.
Still-
All those carbs are still ready to go somewhere.
So, and people are like, whoa, and I'm like, I'm not playing around on those bridges. And we ride them, right? I mean, you need to pay attention. You need to sit up. You need to not be ridiculous. You're not winning the race at mile and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not doing it. There's one other area on the course, which is no aero, no passing, and that was at the request of law enforcement because of the turn that it's kind of on. So when law enforcement asks you to do something, you say, yes, sir, when would you like it done? So it's been that way for 2 years. That's not a big deal. It's well marked. You'll see it. Get out of aero, don't pass. It is literally for a quarter mile. It is not a big deal.
Yeah. Get your water, get your gel. Yeah.
It's a perfect time. That is about mile 35. That's probably about mile 36, 37. So perfect time. Take some water, get a gel.
Yeah.
You just came in, you passed an aid station at 33. You're still kind of getting readjusted again. So it's fine. So those are a couple key things. Otherwise, just pay attention. Keep your eye, the whole course is not closed. So when you get back on the highway, you're not coned in again until about you come out at 44, you're coned in again about mile 49. And then you're coned into the finish. So you're coned in quite a bit, but where you're not, pay attention.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So one place I love to stand at Ironman North Carolina is the bike dismount because there is always something entertaining going on. Sorry, y'all, but sometimes you're just a little ridiculous when people, because it's been a windy day. You're
You're
maybe
ready,
an
ready to
arrow. You're
swallow
kind
your
of like,
bike.
yeah, you're ready to get off. You're a little locked up, and then it's like, skirt. I mean, those poor volunteers are always like, please do not run me over. So, any tips on I mean, because there's a long way coming in that you see the dismount line, but it still just catches
Yes.
people.
When you have one final bearing left, you're going to see the penalty tent on your right. When you see that penalty tent, you just need to slow down because dismount's coming.
Yeah.
And the same guys have done the dismount every year and they still keep coming back. So that's a good thing, I think. Yeah,
Yes.
but they still come back. So yeah, you have dismount and then you need to get ready. T2 is on a slant. I get comments about that every year. I cannot repave the parking lot.
You cannot
I can.
the
No matter
gradient of the
no
park.
matter how much you want me to repave the parking lot, I cannot repave the parking lot. That is Cape Fear Community College parking lot. I'm not in charge of that.
Yeah.
It's on a
And
slant.
TT1 is
T1
grass, and then
is
T2 is blacktop.
blacktop.
Yeah. Angled.
It's angled.
Yeah.
It is not this angled,
Yeah.
but it is angled.
Listen, y'all, you got a lot of pieces when you're putting on a race this big, and and 3 sports, and
I can't repave the parking lot. You
No.
just need to not run ridiculous.
Yeah,
If
totally.
you really want to, just be careful. You're not going to win the race in T2, but T2's fast anyway. You get in there, get your bike, put your shoes on, boom, you're gone. You don't need anything, really, by that point. Just go.
Yeah, you've got your bag of goodies. It's not like you laid your stuff out like like a quote unquote traditional race, right? Like you got your baggie, go to your spot.
Yep, your bag. So you take your bag in the day before. So you're going to know where it is because you put it there. So, I mean, there you go. And then you get to there and really rack your bike, dump your bag out, put everything on. You don't have to put your bike stuff back in that bag. Some people choose to because it's easier at the end of the day to pick it up. And then people don't take it. But if you just want to dump and go and strip and go, that's probably not the right word. But, and then get out of there, you can do it. Yeah, feel and go. You can go. So you don't have to use that. Yeah.
And Porta John's like literally in transition, which is nice.
There's not as many in T2 as there are in T1 because T2 tends to be more spread out.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with people waiting in T2. It seems to be kind of nice and spread out.
So finding your bike, because it does look like a sea of bags and bikes. Oftentimes people like to put balloons out, or there's something with a red cup that you don't like, so you're gonna have to talk about that.
You want to know why I don't like that red cup? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Because people have used it before to keep water, right? So they run the thing up and the cup sits here so water doesn't get in their bag. But you know what they do?
Right. Okay.
They yank their bag down and those red cups go everywhere. So in Pennsylvania, Happy Valley, Pennsylvania in 2023, I was working transition. I must have picked up 500 cups. I'm not picking up 500 cups in North Carolina. So we are not having red cups either. You could just put all your, if it's going to rain, just put your stuff in extra baggies in there. But that's what people did. So that's why I don't like those cups, because nobody throws them away.
Yeah. And then they get littered.
People throw their cups away.
Yeah.
And then they blow everywhere and you got to chase cups down all over the city of Wilmington. And like, that might be a little dramatic, but that's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
No red Solo cups either. That's why I don't like red Solo cups.
Okay. No red Solo cups, no balloons.
No balloons. And that's not my rule. That's kind of Ironman's rule.
Yeah.
It's not allowed to mark your spot special.
Yeah,
I would just look to the side, look and see where the porta potties are and be like, oh, I'm right in front of that porta potty.
I mean, you could take like a Sharpie and write it on your arm, like I'm in row 5 when or whatever.
And do that too.
Y'all. You'll get there.
You will find it.
You will find it. You will find it.
Or if you're like, if you're lucky enough to be racked by me, and I have a pink saddle. All I do is look when I go to T1. I just look for the pink saddle, and I'm like, oh, there's my bike. Get the pink saddle. Yeah,
nice.
I drive an orange car too, just for that reason. So,
so you always know where you're. Yes, so good.
Where
Okay.
my bike is because it's got a pink saddle. I know where my car is because it's orange.
Because it's orange. I dig it. So now we're on to the run. I mean, I feel like this is probably the easiest thing of the entire race, generally speaking. Like, follow the
To
signs.
organize or to run or to do?
Oh, it's actually, like, for the athlete.
Oh,
I
yeah, it
mean,
is.
no,
Yeah.
nothing about this race is easy, I would imagine, for you to direct and or organize. Like,
Well,
it
let me
is.
tell you the latest story. So yeah, no, it's not easy because as of last week, this is insider information. If anybody's watching this, now we'll get posted on Facebook probably at the end of the week. But down at Live, I do this out and back through the park because it's kind of pretty down there too. And they're like, nope, you can't run this way this year. And I'm like, what the
What?
heck? So then I can't run through a certain part of the park. So now you're down to now you don't have 0.12 miles. Do you know how hard it is to find 0.12 miles and not affect city? Like I was like, oh my God, you race direct.
Yeah, I do.
Finding it sounds so little, but it is so big. If you put
Mhm.
it here, oh, now I'm going to be running by a boat ramp. Can't do that. If I put it here, be like, nope, I'm crossing this street. I can't do that. So we're literally going to have to do a little out and back out at Greenfield Lake. It's going to be fine. I'm going to
Yeah.
call it the Ironman Walk of Fame, and we're going to put some posters down there and hand out wristbands. I'm going to try and make it entertaining. And I went up to Mount Olive yesterday and bought 16 cases of pickles. So I have pickles, but it is hard to find
Yeah.
0.12 miles. So I'm going to go re-GPS it again on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
life of a race director. I remember them. They did that at Ironman Raleigh. That you would go down this little street and right before and at like the Capitol, and then you turn down Fayetteville Street. It was like, oh my gosh, the finish line. Well, they had to do a similar type of thing. That instead of turning, you had to do this little baby out and back. And it confused everybody because that was always where I was volunteering because it was shaded and it was nice. But people were just like, but there's the finish line. I'm like, listen, I don't make the rules, just go around the cone. Like, just go around, just follow the course.
I know people are gonna be like, I gotta turn right here. You gotta turn right here, and
Yeah,
I
that's
gotta
gonna
come back
be.
up the street. You gotta come back up that street.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. It is what it is. Like,
yeah.
it just, yeah. And then the finish line is super cool.
Yeah, so we went back to the original beach so we were finishing in Live Oak Park, which was cool.
Hmm.
But we went back to the original, but it's hard with Live Nation to coordinate in between concerts is and I want the finish line to be special for the athletes. I want it to be our finish line. We're not sharing. I'm being selfish once. I want it to be, well, y'all's finish line. I'm not doing the race.
Yeah,
But we went back to the original Beach Battleship one, not the battleship, because we're not crossing those bridges, but you're coming in at 12.8, you're really on the boardwalk. You can see the battleship. You're on the river. It was so beautiful last year, Chris. It was just so beautiful. So we're going
oh,
back
I
there
love
again this
that.
year. Yeah, it
That's
was
awesome.
and it was lively. The tri clubs had their tents. It was colorful. It was very animated. It was very crowded, but I like that like
Yeah,
atmosphere.
and you got a good vibe.
It
Hmm.
had a great vibe, and then now we're in the Diligence parking lot, and I got a duo coming to sing, bassman X and Bianca. They're gonna play some music. You can put picnic tables. Families can go order from Mellow Mushroom or something and come eat. It's just gonna be, I think, a really cool vibe. A
Yeah,
really even better vibe.
yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome. Okay, so now the fun part. What do you, other than the things I mean, you've given us a lot of details, but like, are there certain things that you wish everybody knew about being a race director?
Oh, number one. You want number
Oh,
one?
I'm on number one, which might actually be number
Number
two, but
one
let's
is
see.
every year I get some ring camera video. And you can imagine what that all is. So
Mhm.
I now have big signs all around the swim start that say respect our neighborhood, use the portable toilets. So you can imagine as a race director opening up your email the day after you had this amazing race and there's ring cameras. So they get sent to Wrightsville Beach and Wrightsville Beach sends them to me. So for all you athletes that think you want to skip the Porto, don't skip the Porto because
Because
your
rear end is on somebody's camera. Oh my
and
God.
it's getting shown to all over Wrightsville Beach. Just so you know, so don't do that. So that is, yeah, that is probably
Wow.
the
That is next
that
level.
that is
Like,
not something that you think about when you're 10 years old and you're like, I think I want to be a race director. I think I want to look at ring cameras. So please don't do that. That is like that happens. That really does happen. It happens. It's happened a few times. Now it's gotten better since I've added more portos, but you have 93 portos between when you arrive at T1 and before you get in the water. 93.
That's a lot of
Pick
porta
one.
johns. Yeah.
Pick one at
Pick
two
one.
different locations. Pick two. Pick three. But you have 93. 93 portos.
That's a lot, yeah.
So there's that. And then I will honestly say the other kind of very most challenging aspect for me is what to do with athlete food. I never know what to do with athlete food. And
like what to feed them or what? Okay. Yeah.
What to feed to make everybody happy, because I'm not going to make everybody happy.
No, it's impossible.
It is impossible. And I say this very lovingly to everybody. If you really have a special dietary requirement, then please then pack it, because it's so hard, because we have to, don't forget, you have to feed 2,500 people in a parking lot in the sun at a random time of the day without a kitchen.
Yeah.
So it has to be
some volunteers.
Right? And you have volunteers, so this year, I don't mind, we're doing veggie pesto pasta. So you got your vegetarian, you've got your carbs. We're doing chicken fingers. They are lightly breaded. So you'll get 2 to 3 chicken fingers with veggie pesto pasta, Mount Olive pickle, and then a myriad of chips and cookies and things like that you want. So, I mean, I would eat that. Now, if you are gluten-free, I have specifically set aside 30 non-breaded chicken fingers. You just have to ask for them, and green beans. So I've got vegetarian, gluten-free, and regular. You've got carbs, you've got protein, you've got chips if you don't want to eat real food, cookies, soda, all of that. So, but I had done like Carolina barbecue the previous 4 years, and that was iffy. So we're trying something new this year. But trying to figure out how to get that many people fed. I don't do a lot of food trucks, and people are like, do a food truck. And the reason I don't is because literally if you walk up one block, at least for all the spectators, there's 40 restaurants. 40 restaurants. So I learned that fact today. Within a 10-minute walk, there's 40 restaurants. So I would rather support local. Tell your family and friends to go pick something up and bring it back to you, but buy local. So I like that, because we're impacting their roads. So ring cameras.
Impacting things. You guys, I want to say, are the second or third largest revenue generator for Wilmington, next to like a Azalea Festival. Is that fake news, or do we?
It's not fake news, and we might be number one.
Whoa.
We don't have as much data on the Azalea Festival, and the Azalea Festival now is spread throughout the year, right? They do this concert this day, that concert that day.
Yeah.
The parade and stuff. So we're either number one or number two revenue generator.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. So it
is a big
restaurant.
Deal. Yeah, and that's with everything, and so I try to do almost everything local that I can. All the porta potties, 2 different trash companies, athlete food, security that we hire for all these places, everything. All my captain's meetings, I'm ordering them food. I try and support when the staff comes in. I'm going to take them on a ghost tour with like a local, ghost tour trip. Try and do everything local that we can to support, because I love my community, and I know we're impacting them for a day. So if I can give back to them, and the Ironman, I will throw this in here too. I feel like this is important. The Ironman Foundation gives back to the community and all the volunteer groups. And I ran the numbers, and since 2016, and a couple of the years when the hurricane had the cancellations too, they gave like almost like I think 35,000 to the community, but they've given almost 300,000 back to the community. So I think that's big every year that they're giving. So if anybody wants to know what the Ironman Foundation does, they're helping the communities at their end, and I'm super appreciative of that.
Yeah, so, that's awesome. So good. Well, I am looking forward to this year's race. I think it's I'm not racing. But my intention every year is to try to come and volunteer in some capacity or ring a cowbell.
I love that. If you come If you really think you're coming, you need to contact me because I can always use good, high quality volunteers.
I sometimes, this is probably against the rules, and now that you know, you're probably going to be on the lookout for me.
I am.
Sometimes I get on my bike and I ride the run course and ring my cowbell, and I'm like, nobody get mad at me, please. But there's some places on the run course where it's like no man's land.
It
And
is.
all you hear is like people breathing, and then you're like, oh my God, why did I do this? And then I'm like, ta-da, here I am, and then I ring the cowbell.
So if you do that, just humor me and ride the way that the cars drive, because it's only one way traffic through the lake. So just make sure start at the opposite end that you think. Just follow the rules of the road. Ride the other way.
Ma'am.
Yeah,
I will do
there
so.
you go.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Or volunteer for you. So.
Otherwise, ring all the cowbells you want out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then you're coming back next year, yeah? So you just
Next year we're going back to our normal date, which is nice. It'll be October 17th.
Okay.
Of
Well, that's good
2026.
that it's affected by the tides.
Yeah, that's why it changes. It's not that it has nothing to do with anything except you do not want to swim on an outgoing tide. Trust me.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a little slack in the morning, you know, when you start or at the end. That's just because how the tide is working that day.
Yeah.
This year, you're right in the middle of the tide. You get a pretty good push this year. It's not quite as fast as last year, I don't think, but it's going to be a good push.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a good push. But yeah, so that's why it moves.
All right. So any final thoughts or things that you want people to know, whether it be spectators, athletes, anybody?
I will say that just remember that you're coming into people's community, right? Above all. And, you know, we have over 1,200 volunteers. So this community is, I mean, for the most part, very, very friendly for Ironman coming in. You're going to hit us a couple people that don't like it, but for the most part, this community loves it. They welcome it. And so we hope that, you know, y'all show the same, you know, respect for the community that they have for you guys and support for y'all coming in. So I think that would be just the biggest thing. You know, we can't wait. I love it. My staff loves it. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't be back and they wouldn't do it again. Yeah. So thank you for coming, because I'm kind of quite honored that our little race in Wilmington, North Carolina, you know, last year we were the second largest too. Like, I don't know if I necessarily love that for congestion, but it is a testament to my team that everybody wants to come hang out with my team, right? And do it. If you read the athlete guide and you look at my welcome letter, there's a QR code. I made you a special North Carolina playlist this year. So cool. Yeah. I owned a dance studio for a while, so I love music. So go check that out. But mainly, just thank you for coming. I can't thank you enough for coming and wanting to hang out with me for a couple of days. So that's really cool. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, athletes, when you're out there, just say thank you to all your volunteers. Thank you to the staff. Like, if they're wearing something, you know, because you guys everybody's wearing something specific. Right?
Yep, they have. It's hot pink this year, which I love because pink's my color. Those bright pink shirts, and we're also celebrating like it's game day. So that some of the people might be sporting their favorite collegiate team too. So that's kind of cool. But you'll be able to tell their volunteers, and you get the little red bracelets this year. So make sure and say thank you to them, and you know, hand them to anybody and everybody that you see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sami Winters, Ironman North Carolina 70.3 race director. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Yep.